What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about the ketogenic diet and specifically what happens when you stop. But before we get into what happens when you stop, I want to walk you through the two most common patterns I see as to why people start it in the first place. Then we're going to walk you through why some people succeed, why some people don't, and then at the end you can decide for yourself if the ketogenic diet is right for you and then how to proceed from there. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you don't already. Let's get into it. All right, so these are the two patterns that I see as to why someone will start doing the keto diet. That being said, this really isn't just for the keto diet. This is for any diet when someone just decides they finally want to lose weight. The first one is called Junior Prom. The second one is called Detox Kit. I'm gonna explain why. I call this one Junior Prom because usually one of the most common patterns we see is when they've just been gaining weight steadily ever since high school. Just slow and steady over time, 5 pounds here, 10 pounds here, and over the course of 10, 20, 30, 40 years, whatever, they've gained a ton of weight. And then they look back and they're like, oh my God, at junior prom, I weighed 97 pounds. So I just wanna weigh that again. I don't see why not. So I'm gonna aim for 97 pounds. So obviously that's a little bit unrealistic, but the whole point that I'm making here is that some people, they just gain, then they start a diet, but they don't know which one to choose. So one day they're at the office, once they've decided they wanna begin something, and they talk with Steve. He's the IT guy. Steve has really been into what's been called the keto diet, and he said you can lose a ton of weight super fast. All you have to do is don't eat any carbs. And yes, I know for the people in the comments who are really 100% pro keto, I know you can have some carbs, usually up to 100 grams a day, but let's be honest, that's next to nothing. So Steve is all about the keto diet, and you're all like, yeah, let's do it. I'm gonna lose a ton of weight really quickly. And that's what happens. This next stage is where you just drop a lot of weight very quickly, and you're building up steam, you're super excited about it, you're like, fuck it, I don't need carbs ever, I'm just gonna eat no carbs as long as I can get down to 97 pounds where I was at junior prom. But then what happens? Inevitably, you hit a plateau. Now, this isn't just with the keto diet, this is with all diets. Anytime you're trying to lose weight and anytime you're trying to gain weight, you're gonna hit periods of time where you're not gaining or you're not losing, you're just plateauing. It's normal. It's not weird. It doesn't mean it's not working. It just means that your body is adjusting as you're trying to make a change. The issue with the keto diet is that you've just lost a ton of weight very, very quickly, and usually as a result, built up unrealistic expectations as to what to expect. And that's why when you hit this plateau, you think it's not working, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? I'm gonna quit. Now, maybe you don't even have that big of a reaction. Maybe you're like, you're okay with it pausing, but you're like, you know what? I just really want some carbs. So you just go have a little bit of a carb snack and then your weight spikes up and you freak out. You're like, what the hell is going on? So your weight spikes up, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 pounds overnight. And that's when you're like, this is ridiculous. This isn't working, what's going on? So you keep following that trend until you gain a lot of weight back, until you get to a point where again, you think about junior prom. Or you're just like, you know what, I'm sick of myself, I just need to lose more weight. So what do? You go to Steve, and Steve is like, go back to the keto diet. So you go back to the keto diet, you lose a lot of weight, and eventually, boom, you hit the plateau again, and this is the cycle we see repeating. Maybe you don't even freak out. Maybe all of a sudden it's just like, you get to the holidays. The holidays come up, you want some pie, you want some bread, you just want to take a break from your diet, you have a little bit, not as much as you want, but still the scale spikes up 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pounds. You freak out again. You're like, screw this, I quit. Goes all the way back up until you freak out again. I need to go back on a diet. You go to Steve, so on and so forth. Should have called this the Steve diet. Anyway, this is the first trend that I see, and it's very, very common. The detox kit, it's very similar, it's just the starting point is a little bit different. The detox kit is usually for people who've already been trying to lose weight for a long period of time. And they're doing detox kits or cleanses or rapid fat loss protocols, whatever it is. They're just constantly yo-yo dieting, right? They gain weight, they lose it, they gain it, they lose it, they gain it, they lose it. And there's always the person who's on a new diet, the new trend, the new pill, the new potion, the new powder, always trying to lose weight, and it never seems to stick, which in and of itself is demoralizing, but the issue is they're never doing anything consistently. So then what happens? They also work at your office and they found Steve too. Steve is like, hey, go on the keto diet. Now, this is amazing for them because all of a sudden they lose, not only do they lose a lot of weight very quickly, and I'm gonna explain why, but they lose more than they've ever lost. With any detox kit, with any juice cleanse, with any rapid fat loss protocol, they lose a ton of weight and they do it while eating a lot of food. This is really important. because now they can actually be very full and they're losing a lot of weight very quickly until plateau. Once we get to the plateau, now they think, well, there it is, it's too good to be true, my body doesn't work for it, I'm too old, it's my gender, whatever it is. They freak out, they have 5 grams of carb, they hold on to a lot of water, they gain a lot of weight, and then they repeat this cycle of detox kits and juice cleanses and blah, 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 until they remember what Steve told them in 1997. They go back here and they repeat the cycle. So really quick, I want to explain what's going on here and here and here and here, and why people who do the keto diet are losing so much weight so quickly while eating a lot of food. This is really important because this is what sort of tricks people into believing the ketogenic diet and being in ketosis is inherently better for fat loss. It's not inherently better, it's not inherently bad, but it's not inherently better. What's going on is they're more or less eliminating carbohydrates from their diet. And again, I know you can have some carbohydrates, but the whole point of the ketogenic diet is to get your body into a state of ketosis. In order to be in a state of ketosis, you usually have to be eating 100 grams of carbs or less every day, which is not a lot. Now all of a sudden you have to be monitoring your fruit intake. You have to monitor your vegetable intake. And it doesn't mean that you can have as many fruits as you want no matter what when you're not doing the ketogenic diet, but it does mean that usually fruits are more or less a food that you can have a lot of without really needing to monitor it as much. Either way, now they're very, very, very restrictive in how much carbs they can eat. What happens when you do that? When people are only using the scale to monitor their progress, they're gonna see a very, very quick, rapid weight loss. Why? Because when you reduce your carbohydrate intake very much, you lose a lot of water. A lot of water weight gets dropped out because your glycogen stores are depleted. And that's a very common reaction. You will lose a lot of water weight very quickly. So it's not uncommon for people to lose 5, 7, 10, 15 pounds in the first week. There's a pretty standard rate of weight loss on the ketogenic diet, but the key phrase there being the first week, maybe 2 weeks, but then you hit the plateau and you freak out. Why aren't I losing weight as quickly? Why isn't it working anymore? And then you start blaming yourself. Maybe it's just not meant for me. Maybe I'm too old. Maybe it's my gender. Maybe it's my metabolism. When the reality is you were just losing a lot of water. And yes, some fat with it as well, but mostly a lot of water. Now, the other part where this is tricky is you're eating a lot. You're very full. Eating a lot of high protein foods, also a lot of high fat foods. So you're very full and you're losing weight. It's like, this is incredible. This is amazing. Why wouldn't I want to keep doing this? Until you get to the plateau. And now all of a sudden you don't have any more water to lose. Now it's really just gonna have to be rate of fat loss, not weight loss, which are two very different things. And this is where people struggle because they can either try and wait out the plateau, or what usually happens, people say screw it and they give up, or maybe they have some carbs. And even if they logically know eating some carbs is gonna make them gain weight just from water, emotionally when they step on the scale and they see it's up 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pounds, they freak out. And that's when they say screw it, I quit. And they eat a lot more carbs, they eat a lot more carbs. And then they think that they're doing something bad because they just followed a diet that told them eating too many carbs is bad. So they're like, well, screw it, what's the point? And they keep going, gaining weight until all of a sudden they have to go back to the Steve diet, the keto diet, and they go back and it's just binge restrict, binge restrict, binge restrict. This very confusing and really frustrating cycle of, on one hand, thinking you need to eliminate carbs in order to lose fat. You can't have carbs while losing fat. And on the other hand, even when you do eliminate carbs, at a certain point, you stop making the progress and you think it's not working anymore. And this is where most people really struggle with the ketogenic diet. So now, to answer the question of the video, what happens when you stop doing keto? It's very simple. Once you start incorporating carbohydrates back into your diet, you will gain weight. I'll say that one more time. When you decide, or if you decide to stop doing keto, or even if, let's say for example, you just want to take a week off, you will gain weight. Your weight will go up. Not because you're gaining fat, but because you're holding on to more water. If you don't really understand how much water can weigh, it's sort of hard to conceptualize. All I want you to do is take a 16-ounce bottle of water, put it on the counter, and weigh yourself. Then chug the 16-ounce bottle of water, step back on the scale, weigh yourself again, and you will see very quickly how simply drinking a 16-ounce bottle of water will radically affect your weight. It's a ton. And it's really important to remember that the scale is not the end-all be-all of your progress. It does not tell you how much fat you're gaining or losing. It tells you about your entire body weight, your bones, your tendons, your ligaments, how much food you have in your stomach, how much water you have. So when you stop doing keto, even if it's for a day or a week, you will gain weight, and that's okay, because that's what your body is doing. It's rehydrating itself with a lot of extra water. Now, let's get to the practical application. And the most important question we need to answer right at the beginning is, do you need to be in a state of ketosis, or do you need to be doing the ketogenic diet in order to lose fat? And the answer is no. And I know there are gonna be a lot of people in the comment section who are pissed off. You do not need to be in ketosis or do the ketogenic diet in order to lose fat. Now, the next question is, does being in ketosis optimize the fat loss process? And the answer to that is no, it does not. The only thing that you definitively need in order to lose fat consistently is a calorie deficit, regardless of whether or not you're in ketosis. There's so much research on this, it's staggering. Now, really, above all, the most important component of fat loss, aside from being in a calorie deficit, is adherence, is how well you can stick to what you're following. So if that means that you love the ketogenic diet and you want to do it and you don't really need or like carbs, by all means, go for it. The issue is most people, especially in Western society, they really enjoy carbs, myself included. There's no way I could do the ketogenic diet. Not that it's impossible, it's just that I wouldn't enjoy it. I wouldn't like it. I love pizza. I really like bread. I just had a bowl of cereal before I came down to film this. I wouldn't be able to do that consistently because I enjoy carbs and I'm not willing to be that restrictive with my lifestyle. So that's where you have to ask yourself, what is realistic for you? And this is really a very empowering thing to understand, because once you know that you have the choice and that you can eat carbs or that you don't have to eat carbs if you don't want to, you can make the best decision for you. And that's the best part of all. So if you like doing keto and it works for you, go for it. If you like carbs and you don't want to do keto, don't do it. Just make sure you're in a calorie deficit, which, by the way, if you don't know how many calories you need to eat to be in a calorie deficit, click the link in my description. I have a video explaining exactly how many calories you need. It's my own fat loss calorie calculator. Click it. It's going to help you, tell you exactly what you need to eat in order to lose fat on a consistent basis. And finally, if you have any questions, you can text me. Keep in mind, this is not my personal phone number. It's an application that I use that I send out mass text messages with and also reply to as many people as I can, usually at least 10 to 20 a day. You can text me 617-249-7381. It is only for the US right now, so if you're international, I apologize. Hopefully we'll have that ability soon. But in the meantime, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you don't already. Talk to you soon.